The Honest Edit Podcast, unpacking the truth about life's messes, one honest conversation at a time. With your host, Scarlett, the no-fluff, get-it-done mindset coach, and Holly, your go-to for all things practical, balancing chaos with compassion.
Okay, episode 2.
Welcome to the Honest Edit.
So today we're talking about systems, habits, routines, which is my favorite topic.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one thing that actually saves my brain all the time is by having my routine, knowing what's expected, knowing where to put things, knowing what things have a home, knowing how my brain works to be productive. And even in my space too, like my house can go from clean to chaotic in a minute. But I know that toddler and toddler brain is, even whenever it's toddler, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's almost like they make a point to just rip the house. Yeah, they're going to pull out every single, like, we're not at home. We're not going to get yelled at. We're just going to go free for all. And they know that Aunt Holly is chill with it because everything has its place. And so after they pull out every single toy and all the costumes and all the things, we do a cleanup.
Yeah.
And then everything's fine. And my mom friends are like, oh my gosh, is it okay? I'm like, yeah, because they're going to clean it up and it's going to be fine. And we're going to teach them if they make a mess, then they tidy it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a way that we have routine and we have a system in our house, especially for like Max's toys.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do as organizers is that most of our clients are in the, like having the problem, having the clutter, having the, I don't know how to even get started. And usually it's because that space is being too many things.
Yes.
There's the front door is the drop zone for book bags and shoes and work things and the dog stuff. And there's just too many things going on in each space. So as organizers, we'll come in and we'll actually create a system that works and we'll edit out. This doesn't have to be 10, this space doesn't have to be 10 different things. It's really used to focus on these 3 things and then this other stuff can go somewhere else. And so that's how we can experiment and we can create consistency and a habit to make sure that we're using the spaces in our home effectively instead of it just being clutter all of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times, kind of going back to the fact that we are organizers and we focus on systems, we focus on habits. A lot of our clients just automatically think that our house is like perfect.
Yeah.
That's not. And I'm like, well, no, because we have to also work at it. And I never thought one day, if you asked me, I don't know, 12 years ago, if I would literally say the words, I love systems, habits, and routines, I would have laughed at you. Yeah, this was something that I didn't really fall into. I was building homes before, and I wanted a career path where not only I could work clients like hand in hand, but I wasn't working 70-hour work weeks just with like project timelines. And so I took a personality assessment, and it said, you should be a professional organizer. And I'm like, what the hell is that? That's a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing back then, It's totally a thing. And so I learned along the way and learned a lot about myself that I really do need structures and I need routines to operate so that my brain's not cluttery and I can operate within my house. And I had to learn those things. And then I obviously love to teach it. And then that's where the whole professional organizing comes in. But I have to work at it and whatever we implement for clients on a normal day-to-day, because we have a lot of different either system or method, everybody's different. It's not like a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
It may not work in my house.
Yeah.
I may not be willing to do certain things, or I might be too busy to do that. Or, I'm not going to go decant crap in my pantry. I just don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So I make it want it.
Right. Some people don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. My background was I was an executive assistant for a couple different corporations, project manager. And so I was constantly working with different personalities and on how to be efficient and productive. And so I always think whenever I am doing a task, we go in a circle, just like at Uno, we go in a circle. Sometimes one of my family members will run errands like this, kind of like all over the city, and we go in a circle in my brain. And so that's part of how my systems work is that in my home, I can just literally do the loop
Yes.
and get everything done like we were talking about earlier, like you just take something, put it in that room. Next time you go in that room, you get it done. Or if you're coming out of that room, you take things out of the room. And so that really helps with the routine with my kiddo of cleaning up.
Yeah.
Because there's a space where things go.
Right.
And so it's an easy cue to see like, oh, that doesn't go there. And then we can just pick it up and I could say, hey, can you put this up? And he knows where it goes. So I don't have to say every time like this Lego goes in the Lego box or that goes in your sock drawer. He knows where those things are. And so that's what we do. And we set up for clients that help them identify this doesn't live here. It lives somewhere else.
And I think going into the whole, if you're going to organize your space or you're going to create a new system in a certain area, it really all starts with what's the priority of the space.
Yes.
Well, if this is a dream space of yours, what's the vision? What do you see? What do you like? And then identify what you dislike. I don't like that there's too many things in the entranceway. I don't like that I've got this in here. Why do I have this in here?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where that's your pre-planning. And then from there, which is kind of like our consultations that we have with the clients. And then we go into our method. We sort into categories. So like with like. And then from there, we take out what doesn't belong. Or maybe you just need to trash the things. Maybe I'm a whole lot of expired stuff. Or maybe this has been a little too TLC'd and it needs to go. Or you can donate because you're over this item. And so that takes things out. And it helps declutter the space at that point.
Right.
Then you can organize it back at what makes the most sense. This makes more sense being at eye level. I always in pantry like to put dinners at eye level because that's when you're the most busy, tired, and rushed. You know, you're coming home, you're decompressing from your work day or being out all day and taking care of the house or my kids or whatever. You know, everybody's kind of like in the kitchen or dining room. We're all talking, we're all catching up. And so I want clients to be able to see, and for myself, dinner very visibly. Oh yeah, we're going to eat this. We're going to take this. Versus like snacks.
Right.
That would go on a higher shelf because you're more relaxed. You're more like, ooh, what do I want for this movie? And you're excited and you don't mind reaching up a little higher to do that. And so it's kind of like prioritizing even where things go, where it makes the most sense. Or little ones, they need to be able to reach things. Maybe it's very low,
Right. And maybe now, so there's snacks, there's another little basket that has some bowls and cups so they can start getting used to, I'm going to grab my bowl and my cup and my snack all at once. So I don't have to ask mommy and daddy to do it for me.
And they feel good about it.
And this makes them feel really great because they know where their stuff is. And I think that it's different for every family. And that's one thing that hiring a professional organizer to come in to help with creating these systems is so great because we have worked with so many different types of people, so many different personalities, so many different families. And so there's really us being professional. It's because we have figured out the systems and we have the habits like locked down for us. Don't think that we have like Mary Poppins houses. Everything isn't perfect. We have a system. We work the system. We have a good routine and we teach our family that routine. And that way that creates a habit and that creates that every time you see something out, we can put it away. Or, ooh, this dog leash hat is ripped. We're not going to use it anymore. Let's just go ahead and put it in the donation bin that we always have going on. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so it's going to take, even with our clients, I feel like we'll go in, we'll tidy something up, we'll fix it up, and then we'll do a check-in. And maybe that's not working perfectly for a family member. And so it's an experiment of what works and what doesn't work. And so it doesn't have to be really rigid, but it can just simple changes can make a big difference.
Or even a refresh. Like,
yes,
kids get older, interest changes.
Yeah.
You might be, you might have been on a smoothie kick and now you're like totally over smoothies, but you're doing different types of like cooking, like Whole30 or something. I'm just throwing out words here, but like we go in and do refreshes all the time to change the system because things change. Yeah, life changes and that's normal.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like our clients they feel a little guilty in the fact that like, oh man, I really like the space kind of got out of, but yeah, it's so normal. All of this stuff is so normal. And it may not even be where maybe you do have a good system, but you're trying to learn it and you're trying to adapt to it. And so what I love doing is habit stacking. Oh yeah. That's time I've read. It's really introducing a new habit. Like for me, little tidbit, my cholesterol's a little high. So my nutritionist and my trainer recommend me started taking fish oils. Well, my husband's already taking fish oils and probiotics and all that thing. And it's in the refrigerator. And I take all my supplements. It's in the bathroom. And I'm usually out in the field running around. I'm not going to remember to put fish oils in my bag, or I'm not going to come home and take those. And I'm definitely not going to remember to take them when I come home because it's a little chaotic at dinner time, right? So for me, I got a fish oil that did not need to go in the refrigerator, and I put it with the rest of my supplements. So literally everything is right there, and I just take it all at once.
Yes.
So and I go ahead and just get it on the way. I was like, why did you buy fish oils? We have them. We have a ton of them. And I go, well, yours is in the fridge and mine are where I take my supplements. And that makes sense to me.
I love that.
So I just applied that habit, to as was one example.
Yeah. Well, we do one thing that we just implemented with Max is we started putting socks in a little bin next to the mudroom, because inevitably every morning we would get fully dressed, but we wouldn't have socks where these shoes were. So now he knows that he can go grab a pair of socks and put on his shoes. And so mommy doesn't have to do it and we can get in the car. So yeah, it's just little changes. It's little things that you want to do. It's just making it easier for yourself.
Right.
Everything, it's already so hard to make a habit happen. I remember back in the day when you were little, you would cut off those little strips and you would make little rings and you would like decorate your rings. So it was like, how many days till Christmas or your birthday or whatever? And they say it takes 21 days to create a habit. So every day I would go like cut that off, and it would be like a reward of like, ooh, I did it that day. And then I could see how many more days I had. And then it just became the routine. And I was so excited that at the end of the 21 days, I was like, oh, this is already a part of what I'm doing.
Yeah, because when you're building a new habit, you need a cue.
Yes.
So you need like a trigger. And so whatever that trigger is for you, it was like the cool strains. And then, then you did the habit, and then you have the reward. And the reward for you is like, oh man, I'm getting through this. I'm like staying consistent.
Yeah.
But it could be as simple as like you're adding a habit, like I said, to another habit that makes more sense. It's like similar.
Yeah.
And then it's just being consistent with it. Yeah. It's practicing. You don't have to be perfect automatically.
Right.
Day one, day two, day three. It'd be so rigid. Just pick it up the next day.
Absolutely. The way that I try to stay consistent is I try never to miss 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
A habit. So just like you, I'm really inconsistent about taking my supplements.
Oh man, and so why is it so freaking hard?
It's just another thing to have to do.
And there's like 9 million supplements.
Correct.
So yeah, figure out what works.
Well, I started on Sundays. I'll sit down with all my supplements and I have this little box and I'll put it in the box, and then I can just grab them in the morning. So like sometimes my morning I can sit down and eat breakfast at home and have a few, hours before I go off and start business for the day. And sometimes I just have to grab it, go, and then I'm off after I drop off Max. So it's just about making it easier for yourself, finding something that works for you. I love Post-it notes. Post-it notes are like one of my great reminders. Even I started a Post-it note to grab your vitamins, and I put it on my mirror in my bathroom. And then I remember, oh yeah, I've got to get this. I've got to get this and take it. Or, I don't know, we need milk, and I just put on a Post-it note because I'm not always looking at my phone or my to-do list, but I like having the Post-it notes. And that's the method I use with my executives too. Whenever I was working in corporate, we would have like 3 major emails that just came through, or I need 3 decisions, and I would just write them on Post-it note, meet them out the door, knock out these 3 things, and then they could go on to the next meeting. And then I had my stuff so I could keep on being efficient for the day. I love finding something that is efficient and isn't taking any more brain power.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you have to stop because something doesn't work, like a system doesn't work, it takes more brain power to figure out and pivot than it would be just to fix it in the beginning. But it's just finding something that's easy and that you don't have to use a lot of brain power for, because that's how it's so much easier to make a habit happen.
Yeah. For me, it's just, what do I need to do in this space? Like, literally when I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, before I leave my bedroom, what do I need to do in this space?
Scarlett makes her bed every morning.
I have to. It's like my first achievement. And it's just an easy freaking win. And then you feel so good and your mind doesn't feel cluttery.
Yeah.
Because when you walk back in your room, the bed's not made and everything's thrown on the floor.
My level of achievement is like, did you brush your teeth this morning?
But see, there's different achievements, not systems,
for different aids before you left the house to drop off your kid from school. Or did you put a bra on?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Do you want to put a bra?
Do you want to? I also used to have like I think during my pregnancy, because I was so tired all the time, it was like if I put mascara on for the day, you knew that was a good day.
Yep.
Like I got
Mine's lipstick. If I put lipstick on, I feel good.
yeah. If you felt good.
I read that somewhere. It's like an old, like, I don't know if it was like Marilyn or one of the greats out there, like, honey, can you feel good? Go put on some red lipstick.
I like that. I mean, I think it's like whatever makes it easy for you. Like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. No, it's just stack your habits.
Mhm.
Have a system that works for you. If you don't know what that looks like, call us. We can help you.
Or, I mean, you can also, like, because a lot of our viewers may not be in the state of Texas, and we travel though, but you could just literally write us. And we love to do like Q&As and what works for us. And I think that's really what this podcast is about, is like making it less like Organizers or Mary Poppins and more similar to the fact that we're human beings and we have to work at it too. And we work at it all day with clients and then have to come home and do the same thing for ourselves. Yeah. So it does get exhausting. It is tiring. We have to be very mindful, very intentional about the things that we do. And I've become extremely disciplined over the course of 8 years that I've been in this sort of career path. But I love it because it's just, how can I be the best version of myself?
Yeah.
And how can I constantly improve that or do better or, lead by example for my family or, all the things.
I think that it's the efficiency for me. Like I do not like wasting time. I cannot stand wasting time, not going in a circle and walking back. I mean, yes, of course, I'll walk into a room and be like, wait, why did I come in here? What am I doing in here?
What is that?
All the time. I don't know. It's just, I think it's normal life.
Yeah.
Normal life. Because it happens all the time. Or I'll like go out to my car and then I'll like, what am I doing out here? And a lot of the times in our mudroom area, which is really just a bench in our hallway, but I have like 3 different totes. And one is like donation tote, drop off to friends tote, returns. And so I'll just step things in there during the day and then I can just pick it all up, take it out the door when I'm leaving.
I don't even have a mudroom. Like, I don't at all. So yeah, everything that comes in on your person has to go to your freaking room.
Yeah.
So the moment I come into my home, I have to go into my closet to go put my purse up or go take my shoes off. Or even when my daughter was younger, we had like a tiny little shoe rack in the coat closet, but the coat closet is so freaking tiny that you can't really put a whole lot in it. And I'm not going to sit there and clutter it up for obvious reasons. So it's like when the shoes do get a little bit robust, I'm like, okay, everybody, let's get a couple shoes that don't belong in here and let's go put them away. And that's kind of a weekly thing.
Absolutely.
It's kind of identifying that. Or my daughter like puts her backpack in there, or she takes it upstairs because she's going to do homework.
Mm-hmm. We have a shoe rack at the back door, and the seasons are kind of changing here in Texas, which next week it'll be 106. Yeah. This morning I was like, okay, shoe rack is full. We're going to take all of the boots or all of the slippers off because it's chilly now. It's about also like going back and just editing and making sure that system works for you. This space doesn't have to be 15 things.
Yeah. And it changes with the seasons.
And it changes with the seasons.
Or with the activities.
Yeah.
Or with what you're doing in that time period. Maybe the kids are doing swimming, tennis, and I don't know, lacrosse. But in the wintertime, they're doing football. What's the word?
I really don't know. I actually asked my husband the other day when baseball stopped, and he's like, it's done. And I was like, no, it's not. And he's like, didn't you just ask me that question at the Shoe Gen now? And I was like, well, yeah, I
should know this because my husband is a huge sports guy. And so there's always sports going on. But I think I've tuned it out so much that it's almost like the Charlie Brown in the background. It's like, so I don't even know.
I don't have enough great space for sports yet. And I saw one day it'll be there. I'm going to have to do sports.
We're rambling now. So what's our next episode?
Okay, so join us for next week's episode about balancing the modern woman.
Yeah.
Like about the invisible work, the 10 million things to do list, about holding the boundaries, time management tips.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, it'll be good. Hopefully you can walk away for some. So if you have any questions, send us questions. We want to do some Q&A. We're here to help you guys get organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about our lives.
And talk about our lives too. Because why not? We're not Mary Poppins.
No, we're trying to keep it raw and real. For sure. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned, friends.